number of private schools run by private trusts and government schools and municipal schools. Okay, there was a combination. But the absence of teachers was not there. This was a new phenomenon. The teachers used to go there, the quality was good, but the number of schools was less than population. Okay? So then what we have is, after this nationalization, what has happened? Number one, the quality of public sector has gone down. Secondly, the government and the NGOs and the donors all, they want to run parallel systems. Because NGOs would say, okay, for example, in United States of America and Canada, there is a large number of Pakistani physicians and surgeons. And they are very rich people. They have their own association. And they have huge funds. And out of love of the country, they should say, okay, we must do something for education. So they would open education institution of their own. They will not ask the government to improve the system. They will say, okay, we will run 500 schools of our own. And then there are other organizations, a number of them. There is a Citizen Foundation of Pakistan. They are running about 900 schools all over Pakistan. They get donation for a primary school, for example. 4 million is required to establish a primary school, and maybe 6 million is required to open a secondary school. And they say you have to give money for 1 year running of the school. So when that money comes, they go and select the site and open a school. So there is a parallel system. And unfortunately, the government itself has been trying new parallel systems. For example, we had a Prime Minister in 1985. He said there must be schools in the mosque schools. Another person came, he said there must be another type of school known as Nai Roshni, new light. Then you see another set of schools was opened. Then, for example, Pervez Musharraf became the president of Pakistan. He established a Commission of Human Development and gave billions of rupees to the commission, and they established their own schools. Okay? So similarly, other NGOs and philanthropists and private trusts and foundations, they come in the field, and out of the love of the country and care for education, they establish a parallel system. And the argument is that the government will not be able to do anything. So it is better. There is something better than nothing. That is the approach. The government, the NGOs, the donor. Now, for example, in Pakistan, we have US aid. They have come in a big way because of this 9/11 thing. They give a lot of money, and the argument was that if you spend on social sector, this violence and militancy will go down. Because in Pakistan we face the danger of terrorism and extremism and all that. So US aid has come in a big way and providing money for education, health, maybe cinemas and theaters, and improving TV programs and all that. Okay, so that their approach is also the same. Okay, and develop a parallel system. So my argument is that there has been no serious effort, neither at government level, nor at NGO or philanthropist or donor communities level, to address the issues in public sector education. And public sector education is all over, because the state has a big role. They have the school buildings, some of the school buildings have vast areas, and they spend huge amounts of money on teachers' salaries. So basic infrastructure is there. The school building, the teachers, and some enrollment, and every year huge amount of money is allocated by the government. So there is no effort to improve the schools and see that this money is properly used. And there is no pressure on the government. So the government also, keeps away from, as you said, they focus on privatization. Okay, private sector is good. So now, as a result of that, we have 4 type of schools in Pakistan. One is the public sector school, which I described. The second is the expensive private schools. There are private chains of schools now. Because you say rich people, they have to send their children to schools. Where would they send? The private schools. They are charging 10,000 rupees a month and they can afford it. Okay? So there are expensive private schools in every district now. Okay? And then they are, because of poverty and because of absence of government schools, people send their children to madrasas also. Madrasa is a religious type of school. Previously, they used to be attached to the mosque, and the children from the neighborhood, they would go to the mosque in the afternoon just to learn Quran and Hadith and all that. But they were, you see, they used to go to morning schools elsewhere. And this was, as we have Sunday schools here in Canada and other places. So now madrasas are very big schools. And they provide free lodging and boarding. So if a poor person, let us say, has 4 children, and he is earning, you see, $2 a day, what would he do? What option does he have? Either he should not send his children to school at all, or he should send them to madrasa, because public sector schools are not working. So this is the third type. The fourth type is in low-income areas. Because, for example, in Karachi, 55% people live in squatter settlements. So what happens in squatter settlement? People on self-help basis, they acquire land, they make their own houses, they make their own sanitation system. So the girls and boys who are young, and some of them are trained also, they open schools in their residences. Okay? 1-room school, 2-room school to begin with. And as children start coming in, and as parents are satisfied, those schools expand. They become 4-room, they become 10 rooms over a period of time. So this is another type of school. One is public sector school, the other is private sector, expensive school. These are also private sector, but you see very affordable schools. And then madrasas. So what has happened in Pakistan during the last 30 years, I have seen that, you see, the nation is divided in 2 parts, the rich and the poor. The rich are, you see, arranging everything according to their income. Their residential areas are separate, their schools are separate, their hospitals, Aga Khan hospital, but in Aga Khan middle class people also come, and some maybe poor people may also come. But the rich people, they have their own hospitals, their own entertainment places, their own security system, their own transport. Okay? The poor people, low-income people are left to fend for themselves. Okay? So this is the position, current position, and this is I am talking of the result of this current position. So now we move further. And then you see, whenever we talk of, for example, reform, so it starts with large funding question. If there has to be a reform, there should be huge funds. And huge fund would come from the donors. But the structural problems or the problems of quality, they are not addressed. Because the questions are of management also. The question are how to spend the money which is already there. Okay? So if there is for example, if a public sector school where we have worked, I tell you what is current, what is the typical position. There was a big school in Karachi, in Garden West, the place where you see you have the zoo. You have the zoo. So there is a huge school, a huge compound, okay? And we arranged to you see, I forgot about